All right, everybody, it's almost time for the Season 3 World Tournament of our CPU Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels, which we've been doing for the past God knows how long now. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to announce all the characters that have qualified and what teams they have qualified for, and then I'm going to let you guys know how the Dream Team will work this season. So the characters that qualified for Team Duel Monsters coming in at 4th seed was Esparoba. Esparoba and his Jinzo deck qualified for Season 3 World Tournament. I think their deck is pretty much B tier. It has some decent monsters. It has Jinzo to stop all the trap cards, but his boss monster only has 2600 attack. Therefore, he's not going to be the heaviest hitter in the tournament. But his anti-trap deck definitely can put his opponents in a bad spot. Plus, he runs cards like Mind Control, which can also put his opponents in a bad spot. The 3rd seed of the Duel Monsters team is Taya Gardner. That's right, Taya Gardner qualified in the DM representative tournament, and her deck is a lot more heavy hitting because she runs a bunch of spellcasters and fairies with a bunch of equipped spells, and they hit pretty damn hard. Her deck is more about hitting hard than anything truly tactical, and there's nothing wrong with that, but she does properly use spells and trap cards. Her AI is not the worst. Then we move on to the 2nd seed of Duel Monsters, Mako Tsunami. Mako Tsunami's deck comes with a couple of options because it could summon some heavy beaters pretty quickly with a legendary Ocean Field spell. And he has the stall strat of a legendary Ocean with Tornado Wall, which can make it so his opponent loses the duel by deck out, which no one really wants to see, but if it happens, it happens. So Mako Tsunami got to 2nd place through multiple win conditions, and honestly, his deck is pretty damn good, but any deck that relies on a field spell or a single spell card usually falls behind in the World Tournament, so we'll see how he performs on stage. Now we move on to the number 1 seed of Team Duel Monsters, which is Maximilian Pegasus. Maximilian Pegasus was a very weird situation because I think he has a C tier deck. Like maybe a D tier deck. His Toon monsters are really not that great. And even though Toons can be good since they are not field spell in this case, but spell card reliant, continuous spell card reliant, they can be screwed over super easily by most opponents. And not only that, but he can't use half his deck if he doesn't get one of these spell cards. Therefore, him winning a tournament was a miracle in itself. And now he's representing Duel Monsters as the number 1 seed. It's kind of like a joke. Either way, Maximilian Pegasus, I would say, has one of the worst chances of making it because his deck is not very good and his AI is even worse. So, that's Team Duel Monsters, everybody. Hopefully they can win the World Tournament, but god damn it, they probably won't. So, let's move on to Team GX. Yeah, here's GX, your favorite characters. In the 4th seed, we have Jaden Yuki. He did qualify this season, but he qualified with his old school Elemental Hero deck. That is right, it will be a carbon copy of the deck he used in the Tag Force 3 game, which means he is using old school Elemental Heroes with old school Elemental Hero support. Expect his deck to not be as fast as you would want. Like, it's not the Master Hero deck, so get ready. And honestly, I don't like his odds for the tournament. His deck is probably C tier at best. Then we can move on to the 3rd seed of Team GX, Alexis Rhodes, and she qualified with her Cyber Blader deck. It's not the worst deck in the world because it runs a lot of warrior support like Reinforcements of the Army, Command Knight, and Marauding Captain. She has options, everybody, but her deck does fall apart because the monsters are not that strong. In fact, if she does not pull off the Cyber Blader herself, she usually just dies. So, not the strongest deck for a World Tournament stage, but that's kind of happening to most people. And now we can get to the 2nd seed of Team GX. It's Yasmin, the Gravekeeper's Assailant Spirit. This lady uses an old school Gravekeeper deck, and when I say old school, I mean Gravekeeper's Chief is the boss monster. So, oh boy, is she going to be in some trouble in this tournament. But Gravekeepers do counter a lot of the newer decks, and honestly, she does have a fighting chance of making it to out of the group stage in the World Tournament. For those of you that don't understand what group stage means, means there's a group stage where every character is in a group of 4 people, and only 2 of them can get out after dueling each other 2 times. The 2 people with the highest records escape and make it to the final stage, where it's a regular tournament just like you all know and love. But it is best 2 out of 3. It's match style. So, let's go ahead and move on to the first seed of Team GX. This guy broke my heart and made me so mad. It's Bonaparte. I hate this guy. I honestly do. I'm super biased. I hated him in the anime. I don't hate his deck, though, and his deck is the toys. The toy deck is a rather weak deck, all things considered. His boss monster has 2,300 attack. That's right, same as a Guy the Fierce Knight. It's called the Toy Emperor. But his toy deck does have some efficiency at using a massive amount of trap cards and searching out a massive amount of trap cards. So as long as he doesn't go against anybody that counters trap cards, Esperoba, he will be just fine. He actually could probably perform decently in the tournament. So let's go ahead and move on to Team 5Ds. Yeah, you know it's time. Team 5Ds, the 4th seed goes to Team Unicorn's very own Brio. Brio managed to get to the freaking semifinals in the tournament using his unicorn deck, and what he used was some decent synchro monsters for attack, some decent monsters for stall, and a lot of deck out options, which ruined his opponent. His deck out options actually worked in the tournament, the representative tournament, and got him this 4th seed. So Brio has an interesting deck, but not the most efficient. Now we're going to move on to the 3rd seed, and that goes to Aporia. I'm sad to say Aporia's mech lords or whatever, they are terrible. The AI has no idea how to use them in Tag Force 7. Therefore, Aporia is most likely just going to die in group stage, sadly. Brio would have been better in that 3rd place slot, but instead he got 4th seed. So Aporia in 3rd seed, not great. Then we move on to 2nd seed, Jack Atlas. This is my man, my favorite 5Ds character. This guy has a heavy hitting deck, and I mean extremely heavy. He can summon a 4,000 attack point Endless Decay. He can get his Synchro monster, which pops all face-up attack monsters, or which pops all defense monsters, because he has the manga version of Crimson Red Archfiend Dragon, whatever, and he has the regular version from the show, which kills defense monsters. So he has a lot of options. He's a strong character, especially among all these weak characters. I think Jack Atlas has a good chance here. And now we move on to the number 1 seed of Team 5Ds, and you better believe it's Misty. So Misty, things you need to know about her. She is very, very effective. Her deck is not the Dark Signer version, but the regular version, which is Gigagagoga Gigagaga Gigagoga. What I mean is Gigagaga Gigo. I know all that sounds like baby talk, but it works. They're water monsters. She uses a legendary ocean just like Mako Tsunami, but maybe even better, because her deck is purely reptiles. So we'll see how that goes in the tournament. The next team to talk about is probably the strongest team to date. This is by far the strongest team we've seen, and it's Team Zexal. Team Zexal has the best chance of winning the tournament, and let me show you why with their 4th seed, Anna Kaboom. Anna Kaboom is an extremely heavy power deck. I mean monsters that easily pass 4,000 attack, go up to 5,000, do burn damage, are invincible. They are gods. Her train deck is amazing, and honestly, she's a big threat for this tournament, and yet she's only 4th seed. That's pretty crazy. But that's not all. Team Zexal also has Tron in the 3rd slot. Now, Tron's deck is really good against other Exceed users, which Arc 5 and Page 3 do use Exceed monsters, so, and maybe some Redemption and maybe some Dream Team, as we'll find out at the end of this video, have a chance. But honestly, Tron has a good fighting chance. Now, their deck is not the best at attacking when they're not fighting Zexal monsters. Zexal monster works. So we're just going to have to hope for the best for Tron. But now we can move on to the 2nd seed of Team Zexal. That would be Joyte. I don't know. I think her real name is well, not real name, but her name is Dextra in the English version. She uses something called Butter Spies. They're very weird, but honestly, she makes them look good. So she probably has a pretty effective deck for this tournament and can take anybody down. But now it's time to talk about the number one seed, the man who's made it to every world tournament. I'm not joking. He's qualified for every world tournament. He has escaped every group stage. He just has not clutched it in the end. It's Gilog, everybody. Gilog uses those hands and effective trap cards to destroy his opponent's ability to play the game. His only real weakness, and it's not even that big, is the fact that his best beater monster only has 2600 attack. He can be overpowered, but with his Fire Ice Hand combo, he has defeated so many opponents and has always made it out of the group stage in world tournaments. He just never clinched it for Team Zexal. So, maybe this is the season since everyone else is so weak. Let's go ahead and move on to Team Arc 5. Team Arc 5 has an interesting lineup this time because they actually have no real crazy members compared to last time, or the last two seasons. So let's start off with their fourth seed, Gen. Gen uses, I shit you not, a Battle Guard deck. He had a miracle run during the representative tournament and managed to qualify with his Battle Guard deck. And honestly, his deck is a really heavy hitting deck, but it's slow. It's slow, it's bricky, it's problematic, and honestly, I don't know how he made it here. So let's move on to the third ranked deck of Team Arc 5, and that would be Yuzu, the main character, main female protagonist. Guess what, everybody? She uses something called, like, song stresses. I don't know. We've seen them in 2 tournaments. I threw her in as a joke in the freaking Redemption tournament, and she actually qualified for that one too, but then we knocked her out because she got 3rd in this one, 4th in the other one. So, Yuzu, literally 3rd seed, and her deck is not the worst, not the best, but in terms of Arc 5, it's not bad, and in terms of this tournament, it can win duels. So, let's go ahead and move on to the 2nd seed, Reiji. Now, Reiji's on a different level. This guy uses the Triple D deck, and those DDD monsters are pretty scary, but honestly, his deck has cost him many times because a lot of the cards burn him to death. His cards cost him 1,000 life points at the end of each, or the beginning or end of each turn, and that means that he can't survive very long. He has to beat the opponent quickly, or before he beats himself, and he's beaten himself many times. But he made it to 2nd seed, and honestly, he made it to the World Tournament, so let's see if he can do anything with that. Now it's time for the 1st seed of Team Arc 5, and you better believe it's Noboru. With his first ever championship win, Noboru is looking real strong. He's gong strong in the American version, and guess what? His super heavy samurai deck is a big contender for winning this world tournament. Attacking in defense mode counters most old school players' mirror forces, and the fact that his monsters overpower most people in this tournament. His boss monster has over 3,800 attack, and he has equipped monsters to make it even stronger. It's insane. Technically over 3,800 defense, but that is his attack. So let's go ahead and move on to Team Page 3. And this might be the only season where I say Team Page 3 has a chance in the World Tournament, because not only did they get some powerful members to join them, but they have there's some weak qualifiers in the other series. So Team Page 3 stands a chance. For those of you that don't know what Team Page 3 is, it's basically Team Tag Force. It's the original Tag Force character, starting with Kami. Kami managed to qualify for Team Page 3, and her deck is pretty interesting. It's another water deck in this freaking World Tournament, but it's a beater water deck that's all about United We Stand and attacking directly. She uses Piranha Army, Mother Grizzlies, freaking a bunch of water monsters that are just there to beat you up. And no, she doesn't use any synchros or exceeds. She just beats you up with water monsters with equip spells. And it got her 4th seed in Page 3. So let's go ahead and move on to the 3rd seed. Now, this 3rd seed did amazingly well in the tournament. It's Mai Zenba. Mai Zenba is a wind-up deck user. She uses wind-up cards that have very good counter effects. I think the strongest one we saw was Zen Meister or whatever. That one seemed to be pretty damn oppressive in the tournament. So I think Mai Zenba stands a really good chance in this tournament, even from 3rd seed. but she's nothing compared to the second seed of this tournament. The second seed of page 3 is Nene, the Dead-Eyed Girl. This Nene girl is super strong because she uses a Shaddoll deck, a very effective Shaddoll deck that has a lot of support with other types of cards, including spellbooks. And this deck is super efficient, super fast, and has some really annoying effect monsters like Construct, Winda, and this one bigger one that I don't know much about. So let's go ahead and move on to the number 1 seed of Team Page 3, the character that beat the Shaddoll deck. It's Merlin Makiko, everybody. Makiko is here with the full power spellbook deck. She managed to win a tournament for the first time in her career. We've never seen her perform well in any tournament, be it a Page 3 or a 200 or a 180 character tournament. And honestly, her spellbook cards have done super good and honestly look like a major threat. She affectionately earned the name Merlin from the fans during the Page 3 tournament when she took on Keegarthur, a person that qualified for Season 2 World Tournament, but did not qualify this time around, because Merlin knocked her out in a very close duel. So, Makiko is actually a contender to be a World Tournament champion, winning it for Team Page 3. Nene is as well. All these characters have a good shot. Honestly, Team Page 3 is pretty scary. Not as scary as Zexal, but pretty scary. Now we move on to the final team of qualifiers. It's Team Redemption. Team Redemption is just a mingle of characters that got a second chance, and if they got top 4, they got to be in the World Tournament. Team Redemption, funny enough, did win the second World Tournament thanks to God-chan. But in this season, the Team Redemption is made up of 4th seed Zane Truesdale. That's right. Zane of GX could not qualify for GX, but did qualify here with his hyper-powered Cyber Dragon deck, using Future Fusion, Chimera Tech, and Overload Fusion. He made it to 4th seed in a very clutch redemption tournament. It was pretty funny. And now it's time for the 3rd seed, which is an interesting one, Seto Kaiba. Yes, in the Redemption Tournament, Seto Kaiba earned himself a slot in the World Tournament. Now, 3rd seed is not the best, and his deck is not the best, but honestly, he's been playing a lot better ever since his deck has turned more vanilla. He has a lot of interesting power cards like Shrink and Shadow Spell to work together with his Vorse Raider, Legion, Battleox, and Alexandrite Dragon. He has a lot of combos to pull out the Blue Eyes White Dragon like Silver's Cry or Maiden of the Blue Eyes, and his strongest card is easily his Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. But he also has a brick card in his deck known as Obelisk the Tormentor, and that card is amazing, but goddamn, it will not come in handy in this tournament. So, let's go ahead and move on to the 2nd seed, and you know you're going to love him because he's a protagonist. Yusei Fudo once again qualifies for the Redemption Tournament just like he did in the 2nd World Tournament. However, this time around he's only the 2nd seed. Last World Tournament he was the 1st seed. Yusei Fudo has managed to come back with some amazing plays. His Synchro monsters have been playing a lot better recently. He's pulled off some amazing combos from here and there. He's gotten some amazing comebacks, and honestly, thanks to his Scrap Iron, he's been able to stall out some opponents and managed to beat them all, except one. And let's talk about the number 1 seed. It's time for Yasai. Yasai, the Tomato King, is here. I am not joking. Yasai, for those of you that are new, uses a full-on tomato deck. Tomato, like Mystic Tomato, Tomato in Tomato, Inmato, Potato. No, I'm joking. There's other tomato cards too. He uses the field spell Tomato Paradise to make his monsters actually strong. And with that field spell, even though he's field spell reliant, he could easily beat his opponents. He is a major contender for this tournament. And honestly, I expect Team Redemption to do at least decently well. But that is everybody. You now know all the characters that will be participating in the World Tournament. And only 4 slots remain. So, let's talk about the Dream Team qualifiers, which will be happening this Saturday. Who is allowed in the Dream Team qualifiers is up to you people at home listening to me right now. If you have a favorite character that is not already in the tournament that you want to see in the tournament, that is from a Yu-Gi-Oh video game, or that is from the Yu-Gi-Oh show, with cards that exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 7 Arc 5 Special, I can put them in the game and allow them to have a chance in the Dream Team qualifiers. I've done it before with Johnny Steps. I've done it before with Truman. I've done it before with Odin from that 1-5Ds game on the Wii. I've done it before. And, of course, if there's just a character that you really love that didn't make it, in my case it would be Joey Wheeler, but I sometimes I have to let him go. His luck stat is just terrible. He never succeeds on Time Wizard, and it breaks my heart. But if you have a favorite character you want to vote for, vote in the comments below. I will also accept votes on my Twitter, my Facebook, and my Discord account. Any votes in the Yu-Gi-Oh section of Discord or Twitter or Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, you just put it wherever, and I will allow those votes to go through, and the characters that receive the most votes will get a spot in the Dream Team qualifiers. But this season, I'm going to do something different. For the people that vote in the comments section, if you only put one name in the comments section, I will count that as a full vote. If you have multiple characters you want to see in the Dream Team qualifiers, so let's say you want My Valentine and you want Joey Wheeler, and you put both of those names in the comment section, I will count them as votes, but I will not count them as full votes because you put more than one character. If you put your 4 favorite characters, I will still count them as votes, but I'm going to count them as less of a vote than if somebody had just voted for one character. If you leave multiple comments under my video, I will only count them as like cut in half or something. They will not be worth a full vote. However, I will count full votes if you vote on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and YouTube. As in, if you only put one name on each of those sections, they all count as a full vote. But if I see multiple names in only one of those sections, then I'm afraid I will not count it as a full vote. But it doesn't take that much to get into the Dream Team qualifiers. Last season, we had 32 people qualify because basically all I need is enough people to like your character to qualify for the Dream Team, or if I just straight up like your character. If you say someone I think is interesting, I'll throw them in there just because I think you picked an interesting character and I want to see them duel. So there are multiple ways into the Dream Team qualifier. Your best chance is to have the most votes. If the character you voted for also gets voted for by other people and they also put the same name in the comment section, then you will have a good chance of seeing them in the Dream Team qualifier this Saturday. For those of you that are curious, this Saturday is going to be the 20th. The 20th of August will be the Dream Team qualifiers, and the votes you put below for the next 3 days on my YouTube, on this YouTube video, in my comment section of the comment section of this video, on Discord in the Yu-Gi-Oh channel, on Twitter anywhere, and on Facebook anywhere. I will let you get those votes, and you will get your character into the Dream Team qualifiers. However, not everyone's characters will make it. If a character just doesn't get enough love, I probably will not allow them to qualify. So, you better hope that you have enough love put into them, and I wish you all luck. I'll see you all at the Dream Team qualifiers this Saturday. We'll be streaming it 12 p.m. PDT, which is Pacific Standard Time, basically. For those of you that don't know, that would be 3 p.m. Eastern. They're 3 hours later. So if you're in the Eastern time zone, that's a little bit of help for you. And there's a lot of you in different time zones. I can't help you all. You're just going to have to search it on your little internets. It's pretty easy. You just put your time zone and then my time zone, which is PDT. So I'll see you all later. Thank you all for watching, and I hope your favorite characters make it. Bye-bye.